Today is our first show. Today I have a special guest that I met 6 years ago, Shane Burgman. Shane reminded me today we met at a Starbucks, and he said he remembered what I wore, but I don't think he did. No, I really don't. But anyhow,
what your hair looked like, though.
You do?
I do. I do remember that.
Anyhow, Shane is on the Carpenter Kessel team. He has been with us for 5+ years. Mm-hmm. Started out as a $5 million producer.
Yeah.
And I'll let you tell the story, but give us a little history, if you would, about yourself. Again, we're happy to have you on the show today.
Yeah, well, Kirk, I appreciate you having me on your show. I think by far right now, this is the best episode you guys have done.
It's the first episode, but it will be the best. I promise. It will be the best.
It's the best, and this is probably the best looking guest. But like context on the whole Starbucks thing, that was the initial meeting that you, Dwayne, and myself, we went on when you initially reached out to me. We were doing a deal together in San Marino.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
And I remember this so vividly because you had reached out to me once we were under contract, and then you had requested this meeting. And I remember getting this interesting request to go on a little Starbucks adventure.
We call that a coffee clutch.
A coffee clutch. But at the time, I thought you were going to bring me into Starbucks and you were going to tell me how this transaction was going to go. And I don't think I've ever shared this with you.
No, you never told me this story.
So I was amped up to go to this because I was like, I know who these guys are. I know they're the top dogs. They got this reputation. They kick ass. But I'm going to go in there and I'm gonna say my piece and I'm going to let them know I can run a transaction as well. And so I was in a defense, dude. Yeah, I was on the defense mode, and we go in there, and little did I know that it was you guys were saying, hey, we're really impressed with the way you're working. Would you consider joining our team?
Correct.
So I was blindsided by that, but that was my mentality going into it. Was okay,
you had your pitchfork ready to go.
I was ready. Yeah, I was ready. So that was the context of the meeting. There it was our first time ever meeting, my first time ever seeing you or Dwayne in person.
And how long had you been in real estate from that point?
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit less than 2 years. So it was my biggest transaction to date. In that year, I think I had just done a little bit south of 4 million, and it was like my second year,
which is fantastic.
And then so now I'm at 8 years.
Which is why you were on our radar, and the deal on San Marino was so smooth and so nice. We're like, hey, we should talk to this guy.
Yeah, it was a smooth, and it was a really good deal, and it was one of those. It was I just remember leaving the meeting oh my gosh, I felt like a jerk because I was going in there, but I think as soon as
I'm so
realized,
glad I know that now. I'm really glad.
But so that's the context of the Starbucks thing. But before that, so this is this is my second brokerage in 8 years with you guys.
And your last one.
And my last one. Yeah. I mean, it's
we're dying together.
The loyalty. I mean, we'll talk about all that in the show, but before real estate, I served 10 years in the United States Navy and was in the submarine force. I know we've talked about that. It's things that have shaped me as a person. It's why I carry myself the way I do. It's why I have a vulgar vocabulary. It's a lot about the person that has shaped me. The military had a lot to do with that. But before real estate, I was, in the service, and then left the service and immediately went into real estate. And it's the only job that I've had outside of the military as an adult. Okay.
And so you went into real estate roughly 8 years ago. You've been selling now for 8 years. Tell us about your production when you were at $4 million when we first met with you. And now where are you today? I'm going to speed forward and go back.
So I think right now, as of Q1 ending, right around 15-ish million, I think is what we've closed out. Ending last year was at almost 43 million.
43, wow. And that's how many transactions?
That was 72 transactions.
In 1 year?
Yes.
Great job. We love it.
It was a banter year. It's an anomaly year. It's one of those, it's going to be, I'm trying my darndest to beat that. Last year was incredible, and it's the best year I've had in real estate.
Now that's not including your team's numbers.
No, as a team, we did just about 75 million and sold a little bit north of 100 units.
And so tell a little about your team, because that's unique. People that are listening may say, oh, I thought it was just the Carpenter Kessel team. No, you're a team within the Carpenter Kessel team. So tell how that works. Yeah,
so the dynamic is a team within a team. Mm-hmm. So you and Dwayne, I would say, gave me the confidence to say you should start expanding and kind of attracting other agents to help out with your production. So that's what I did really a year and a half ago, brought on a couple sales partners that worked with me. We just had lunch before this meeting. We're trying to keep the culture really tight. There's 3 of us that sell on the team, myself included. I have a full-time assistant and then my full-time videographer. So 5 of us on our team. As a production unit, we all work on listings, we all work on buyers, but as the team leader for them, I look at it as my job is to provide opportunity for those sales partners, whether it's the opportunity opportunity of getting on a TV show, or opportunity is to help them with video, or opportunity is like, I have a buyer lead on one of my listings and I want you guys to be able to work it. Those are that's the way that I kind of function as a team leader with them. But we work really close together. We have a group thread we communicate all the time with. We try to meet every 2 weeks and have an in-person lunch, and really just bank ideas off of each other.
So if you were to say in two top things, what are the two top things as a team leader that's important for your team?
You know this, but I think culture is always the first thing, and that's a super buzzy word. And to me, it's so important because of where I came from. You know, even before the military, like culture was important to me, and culture as far as like the people I hung out with, the things I did. And the military shifted that to where the culture that I was used to was extreme loyalty, people that you could just have such a tremendous amount of trust for. And you might not know them that well, but you know at the end of the day, if shit goes down, like they've got my back. And that's something that is in the military ingrained within us. Transitioning into real estate, it's challenging to find those people that have that level of loyalty and trust. So to me, that's something I've always held very high. And that was why is why I've been with you guys so long, because you guys demonstrated at the highest level, and it's something that I've wanted to include and incorporate into my own team.
Good answer. So let's add on to that. Mm-hmm. So do you set your the people that are on your team, do you set their goals or do they set them?
So it's a combination of both. I know what their production was the previous year, and we get together and we do set those goals as we enter the new year. And of course, you guys put together really articulated goal sheets for us. So we have our annual goal, we have our quarterly goals, and then everything that kind of falls within that as to how to get to that goal.
And so your goal we're in 2023. Mm-hmm. What's your goal for this year for your team?
75 million for the three of us.
Okay. You want to stretch a little bit?
I want 100. 100
I'd like 100 too.
100 sounds really good, and it's something that is a stretch goal of mine.
Okay.
So I'm always a guy that'll set a goal and a stretch goal, and a lot of times I get really close to that stretch. But 100 million.
Every time you get close to that stretch, every time.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first year that I've set my own personal goal as a extreme, like it's pushing the boundaries of where I'm like, I have to get creative and do some really interesting things to hit it. My personal goal is 50 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to back up because everyone that's listening to this is going to think all you do is work.
Yeah.
You've got a wife. You've got 2 young children. Mm-hmm. I think two dogs, one dog. I don't know. One dog, one gone to dog heaven.
Yeah.
The reality is, how do you juggle work life with family?
It is challenging. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I mean, it takes a tremendous amount of support from, your internal family, support from your team, support from your clients, and then also like setting boundaries within all of that. I mean, real estate is an interesting job because it's like we don't really clock in, clock out. We don't have a time we're at the office, and most agents pursue it as a 24-hour job, and they feel like there's no way to say no to showing clients at a certain hour. I want to backpedal maybe 3 years where I made the conscious decision of saying, I need to set boundaries. I need to learn to say no more, because if not, my mental health is going to go down the drain. And 3 years ago was really when I had my best year at that point, and it's only gotten better from that point. So I have 3 years of history to prove that, like, I say no a lot. I set a lot of boundaries. I'm very particular about the clientele that I work with, and then also knowing when to like turn my phone off and be present with my family. But it's a daily challenge, and for me, it's kind of all established in the morning, like how your morning routine is set. The rest of the day is going to go off at the tempo of that, and then also like having the discipline and knowing what your structure within your day looks like, and then also when to say no. I think there's just so much power in that.
So tell me, give me 3 boundaries that you've set over the last 3 years that really work for you, because that will help people listening.
So boundaries, I will rarely take a call after 6 p.m.
Oh, wow.
So I am very religious about that.
Because you're home.
Because I'm home with the family. I am home at 5 p.m., I'd say 95% of the time.
Which is interesting because people think about real estate and we go out on a 5 o'clock listing, we go out at 6 o'clock and show houses. And that's not the case in most instances.
No, most of my showings are during the day. And it's because I start the conversation with the client and I let them know, hey, these are the parameters I kind of work within. There's always exceptions. Like, for example, tomorrow I am showing a property at 5 p.m.
Okay.
But it's the only one I've done in probably the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
So there's that setting those boundaries as far as time, like when you're available.
Okay. Number two,
the boundaries of how I prefer to communicate. people give me a lot of crap about this, but my preferred method of communication is text messaging or email.
Okay.
And it's because I find it most efficient. We have a paper trail of what we've talked about, and it's also one of those things you can build it in your day to get a response back. If you're on the phone constantly, for me, it's hard because I'm either in appointments, doing other things, filming content, and it's just hard to constantly get that phone. So I make it very clear to my clients when I'm first working with them. And I'm even in a cadence now where most clients are like, how do you like to communicate? I let them know, text or email. And if you call my phone, you have about a 99% chance that I will not answer it and it will go to my voicemail.
Oh, I know. I know.
Yeah. And on my voicemail, it clearly states, send me a text.
Yeah.
I have some other things in there, but
I change mine on mine because yours is like that.
And it's like, you should probably text me. Yeah.
Please text me.
And clients respect that because they know what boundaries they're operating within. So they know, oh, he likes a text and I can't really, he's probably not accessible after 5, 6 p.m.
Okay.
And the third boundary, I think, is putting my family first. So that's the other thing I talk about. It's in my voicemail. I said, if you've got my voicemail, it's for 3 reasons. 1, I'm either with a client and I'm on appointments. 2, I'm with my family and they're more important. Or 3, I've screened
you really say that.
Yeah. Or 3, I've screened your call and you should probably text.
I love it.
That's what my voicemail literally says. So when people get that, automatically they know a bunch of things about me. They know I'm busy. Mm-hmm. They know I prioritize my family, which I don't think many people, if anyone, would say this guy's a jerk for prioritizing his family over me.
Yeah.
And then they know how I prefer to communicate.
And if they did, you wouldn't want to work with them anyhow.
No, and it's not a match. But if someone
with.
listens to that voicemail and they're like, I'm so offended by the things this guy says, like, I've already saved both of us so much time because now, like, they can find another agent that they can work with and we're just not a fit. And I'm at a stage in my career where that is, like, I'm trying to find the clientele that works best.
Yes. Yeah. So what the fit.
Yeah.
Fit for you. Yeah. So tell me this. Let's change subject a little bit. Yeah. You said you do other shows. Tell me about your shows. Tell me, do you do podcasts? What do you do?
Yeah, so I mean, with my full-time videographer, like that keeps us busy. But again, we've blocked in time for that. So every Wednesday, 10 to 2.
So you're a real estate agent with a full-time videographer.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about efficiency. Like efficiency monster is how I like to describe myself. Anything that I can do faster, better, quicker, and then easier, I'm always trying to find that. Not everything in life works like that, but when it comes to technology or like building in schedules, I'm almost obsessed.
So does this videographer follow you everywhere, or what does he do?
Not like a Gary Vee vlog setup, but full-time videographer in the capacity of he only films for me, really.
Okay.
And every Wednesday from 10 to 2, we are filming pieces of content. Connor, my videographer, is also in charge of producing the content, editing the content, and then distributing it on our platforms. Wow. So he's the one posting on my behalf.
He does it all. Okay.
Does all of it. So full-on videographer, media distribution, like a media company that we're kind of building, and we just have the videographer aspect now, but it's one of those, like, I see it growing. Does he do all of your replies on all your social media? Who That's actually me.
Is it really?
Yeah,
wow,
because
okay.
I think that's really important. So when Connor posts, he normally lets me know, like, hey, we're posting this video. And then what I try to do is dedicate some time to make sure that I'm able to respond back immediately. So if we post a video and someone comments on it, I try to get to it as quickly as I can. So the responses are always going to be from me.
Okay, that's nice.
So I manage that aspect of it.
Unbelievable. And so when you do the videos, the shows, I mean, can you give us an idea what audiences are you trying to pick up? Listings? Are you trying to pick up buyers? You're just trying to get people. I remember you did something when you bought your Tesla. Mm-hmm. Remember that? And how many hits? I guess I call it hits, but
500,000 views at this point, which is kind of. I mean, it's funny. It's kind of created a problem because that was a YouTube video that we did.
I remember that,
and I was just really excited.
I watched
about
the whole thing, by the way.
It was
so amazing. Yeah,
well done. And I'm like a guy, like, you get the details and I will uncover them and I can articulate them. Mm-hmm. I've always felt like that is kind of like a superpower. You take a very complex subject. Because when I was in the military, I worked on nuclear missiles. I was literally a missile technician on a nuclear sub for nuclear missiles.
Wow.
And I knew everything about the sub, like that's our job. And then also had to understand everything about the nuclear missile, how it works, the hydraulics, the high pressured air, the propulsion, everything about the targeting, like all of this stuff. And then I started doing education, and I'll answer your questions. It took a long path to it.
Okay.
But by being able to take a really complex subject and like explain it to, a 5-year-old is something that I think is a true demonstration of intelligence. And so when you could take something complicated and kind of, I don't want to say dumb it down, but make it easy for people to understand, that is something that I think is important. So with doing the Tesla video, we took this complex vehicle that, it's a very complicated car. It drives itself. It does all these things, and just kind of explained it to where anyone could understand, like, oh, that's what an electric power car does, and that's what regenerative braking means, and that's how autopilot actually functions and all these things. But that video did kind of set off a weird audience factor for our YouTube channel, because then people were like, oh, this is a Tesla creator that is going to put out content for Tesla. And it's so far off of what I do. It's just something I was interested in. So we actually learned a lot from that video, where it's like, that's not the audience I was actually trying to go after.
Okay.
It was a byproduct, but it kind of put me in this little weird hole.
And that audience, that was everywhere. So it's not like somebody here that's going to call you. It's not like a local audience.
No, I mean, that is universal. I mean, we're talking not only United States, but different countries, different continents. Yeah. I mean, that video got widespread because it was timing. I think when you're doing video content, like, timing is a huge aspect of it. Is it relevant? So that car had just been released in 2021. Tesla released their new refreshed Model S. I had one of the first, few hundred models of this car. And so people were curious. It was all over the news. It was interesting. So people were searching it on YouTube, because YouTube is like a search engine, and they would find my video and then they'd watch it and be like, this is so well done. Oh, this guy doesn't have 1 million subscribers. He only has 1,800. Yeah. And it was this kind of like weird.
That's why I fix everything. I go to YouTube. I'm like, I got to fix this doorknob.
How to fix it. How to fix my dryer.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm constantly searching on things like that.
It's a wonderful tool. It really is. They didn't have it when I was your age. Let's put it that way.
How did you learn anything?
My dad did it all.
And you just watched and picked up
No, I didn't
on
watch. I went off and did my own thing. And then when I moved away from home, my dad's like, hey, you need to fix your lawnmower. Like, I don't know how to fix it. I'm going to bring it over, Dad. Yeah. There was no YouTube. God forbid you have to open up a manual and read it. I'm not doing that.
No way. Never. I don't think it's in our DNA to read instructional manuals. We'll watch it on a video, but I'm not reading anything about it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I have a 20-year-old son now. He'll put a barbecue together and never look at the directions.
No. I got all these leftover screws.
I'm like, how come you got these leftover parts? He's like, I don't know, but it doesn't wiggle. I'm like, yeah, it's true.
It's true. It works.
I would have to read every direction, and the thing still be backwards. Something be wrong with it. It wouldn't matter.
I actually I do read instructional manuals. It's kind of funny, because in the military, everything went off of what's now been a buzzy word in real estate, SOPs, standard operating procedures. Every time I hear that, it's like a layer of like the military is like presenting itself, because like everything we did on a missile, we have an operating procedure for it. Okay. And so we would open these manuals, and it would be like whatever the task was. And what we would do is there was a little checkbox next to every single piece. So we actually would put tape over the checkboxes, and then we'd either use a pencil or a vis-a-vis, like the marker or the vis-a-vis, and then you'd check it off. And then at the end, when it was all done, you would go back and erase everything. And these procedures were so in depth. It was like the steps to do before that, an inventory of the items you need, all the way down to the part number, how many people needed to be involved with it, and what the anticipated time was to accomplish it.
Kind of sounds like Julie, our transaction coordinator.
Exactly.
She has a little checklist for everything. And
she does.
Yeah, and literally everything's got to be checked off, including getting the lockbox off at the end.
She is, so she utilizes standard operating procedures the way they are intended.
She was in the military for a while.
She I think grew up at Jacksonville. So like, I know we've talked about it. She calls herself a military brat because she was surrounded by it so much.
She's very, very.
Yeah, no, she's rigid for sure.
So if you were to give the audience one great piece of advice on social media, because really, I mean, that's to me, you're the king of social media. Certainly on our team. I mean, I don't know anybody else. I know you used to share Connor with us for a while, then snatched him away. Yep. Then we got stuck with Alex. Well, I mean, it is what it is.
Alex
he's
does
okay.
what he does.
But tell the audience what one piece of advice that might help them.
One piece would be consistency, and this is something that I think people are quick to walk away from. When I say consistency, I'm not saying like, consistently film videos for a week or a month. I'm talking, for me, anytime I'm thinking about a new show, a new segment, a new kind of style of content, I'm already looking at it. I'm doing it for a year, because I can't really make a articulated decision if I don't have 12 months of data to look at it. So consistency to me is, I think, really important. Consistency filming, consistency releasing, consistency doing the style that you're doing, and then consistently getting back on the comments. Like just showing the audience that you can actually stick into something and consistently do it. I feel like, one, you're able to kind of find your audience, and two, you're demonstrating characteristics about you personally that will translate outside of real estate. And just like before I was here, I was on a call with someone, and I get a lot of crap about like posting my cold plunge videos and running and lifting. But at the end of the day, there's two main reasons I do it. One, I do it because it's holding me accountable. I know that when I'm posting it, there are people that are watching. If I miss a day, they'll message me. Be like, why'd you miss the day of running? What happened with the cold plunge?
I like it.
So I have this level of accountability, but secondary is what I'm doing is I am demonstrating personality traits about me that people can see, and that's consistency. And I'm willing to do hard work, and I'm willing to do things that most people wouldn't try, especially for this long. And they look at that, and it defines me as a person. more outside of real estate. It's my values in life, and it's something that I think has helped me within social media, but also helped me attract the audience that I wanted to work with, because people know my characteristic traits, my values, the things that make me who I am.
One more question on the social stuff. What was the story you told on, I think it was Tuesday at the office? You had somebody that you got, was it a YouTube buyer?
Yeah.
Tell that story. That was a great story.
So YouTube has been kind of a new content animal for us, where we've really dove into it. And we just started doing some content specifically surrounding the area I live. So in Vieira, Florida is where I live. We were doing content about 5 reasons why people move to Vieira. And we did this piece, and it quickly got, good attention. And for my channel, what that means is, between 1 and 4,000 views, organic views. I didn't pay for these.
Okay.
So at about 1,200 views, I, at that point, had received 2 great leads from real estate. One of them was asking about a community called Del Webb, which is a 55 and up in Vieira. He ended up building in Bridgewater. He was already under contract, but he reached out
another
to me.
Community.
Another 55 and up community.
Yep.
He ended up building in there, but he was asking me questions about the area and questions specifically about Bridgewater and the builder Lennar.
Okay.
The second lead that came through was a guy that watched that video, directly emailed me, and he said, "Hey, my family and I, we're moving from Atlanta. We're coming down. We want to look at homes in Vieira. We watched this video." He referenced the video he watched, and he said, "We'd like for you to be a real estate agent."
Wow.
So they came into town this week. I spent Monday and Tuesday with them, showing them properties. We communicated yesterday. We were talking today. They're leaving on Friday. They're selling their home in Atlanta. They're coming back, and then they will be living here full time.
So to wrap this part up, when I started real estate 41 years ago, 1982, we had little magazines. We had an MLS book that was, that you looked in. You had dot matrix printers. I mean, it was that antiquated. What do you think the biggest thing now? Where are most buyers coming from? Are they coming from the internet now? Are they coming from, I don't know, signs? Certainly not paper ad. I mean, I don't even get the newspaper anymore. So no? I don't. No.
So there's a saying that I love, and it's on a listing, right? Mm-hmm. And this can translate to your answer, to your question, is the first showing is always online. So like, to me, whenever I have a listing go live, I know the first showing is online, the digital footprint of it. Someone's going to see it on the MLS digitally. They're going to see the videos who done for it. They're going to see it on the Carpenter Kessel website. They're going to see it where else it's been syndicated, Zillow, Redfin, etc. So the buyers, I think, their digital footprint is far larger than any other source out there. So to answer your question, I would say the majority of buyers are going to be online before anywhere else. It's just so accessible and so easy to look at property, build these searches, include their filters, get automatically distributed emails of what's out there, what's available, and then they can keep tabs on everything. It's pretty cool. I mean, especially knowing 40 years ago, like what real estate was then, I couldn't even imagine trying to do. I mean, that had to be extremely challenging and difficult. Like, you had the keys at the castle.
You couldn't sell the volume that we sold today.
There's no way.
It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible.
And
you can have all the assistance you want, but we didn't. I had quarters. You don't even remember that. You know what a payphone is?
No.
Yeah, I know. We'd stop and we get a pager, beep, beep, beep. And
I remember pagers.
Yeah, you remember pagers.
I do. I had one. It was never activated though.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
So we would use payphones. I mean, that's how. So what's happening with all this technology? It's moved us along. So speaking of moving us along.
Yeah.
2.5 years ago, we made a move. Tell us, because I remember some of your thoughts on that move initially. Tell us what your thoughts were when we said, "Hey, we're moving to Compass." Mm-hmm. Tell us what those thoughts were then, and kind of bring us up to date, because it's been about 2 years.
Yeah, I think we're at 2 years. Super supportive, and it was a brokerage that I know Dwayne and I had kind of shared these thoughts on, where it was just like interesting, mm-hmm. right? So we're tracking it, we're looking at it, we're seeing the marketing they're doing. The branding is really sexy. They're attracting agents that are very high producing. And I didn't know a lot about Compass, and then, started getting. It's kind of a problem with me where if I am interested in something, I'm full in research mode.
Oh, I know.
And I go uncover and I'm finding stuff. And it was a brokerage that was really inspiring and just kind of neat to research. And at that point, Compass was maybe around for 7 or 8 years. Mm-hmm. So, not new to the game, but also like they've established a little bit of reputation. At the time, they had dominant market share in all of the Florida feeder markets, which means like where most of these buyers are coming from. Most people think New York and Jersey, like those are feeder markets, but there's a lot of people that are moving from, it could be Connecticut. We're talking Texas, Southern California, Northern California. it could be, wherever it is, but Compass has established a dominant market share in primarily all of the feeder markets where everyone is moving their money into Florida. So just like tracking along with that, I thought it was really awesome. And now 2 years within Compass and building a team that we have, just announced, Carpenter Kessel is number one for transactions in the state of Florida. Which is whammadying. Like, think about the context of that. Just because we're competing with like Miami and Jacksonville and Orlando. So do you know Orlando has like 40,000 real estate agents?
No way.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, I want to say South Florida has 27,000.
Can't even fathom
it's
that many.
Unbelievable. We have 5,500 realtors here.
A little bit less than 6,000.
Yeah, a little less than 6,000.
But 2 years with Compass, I think it was such a smart shift on you guys. Obviously, you took the whole team over.
And everybody came. Every single person came on the team.
Transitioned over. And then you've grown on that point. So I think that not only tells you about your leadership and your attributes and who you and, Dewayne are as people, like how much loyalty the team has for you.
Was that a compliment?
It was.
Holy cow! That is so nice. I hope
it came from here, though.
It's gonna. I know. It's gonna be recorded. I'll remember that one. I know.
It's gonna live forever.
I like it.
But it is a true testament of your leadership and the culture that you guys have cultivated. So like the whole team transitioned over, which I think is extremely rare. Whenever a team leaves a brokerage and they go somewhere else, I bet the fall through is probably around 50%. They're losing half their agents to do their own things. You took everybody, and we were happy to do it with you. Because it's like, I think that's what, at the end of the day, like, you are our leaders. And we know that if you guys are making this decision, you've made this conscious decision and taken all of us into account. Like, that trust level exists, whether we express it or not. So the fact that, like, you guys, we know you did the research. We know the decision you're making is best for all of us. Totally support.
And what, I want to go back to production. The last 2 years, where were you? Do you remember where you were when you came over? Number of units?
Like 6 years ago?
No, 2. No, we already did 6 years ago.
Before Compass.
Yeah, so I just want to see if you think Compass has pushed your business. Obviously, we went through the whole pandemic, but the reality is, I know the answer to this. What have you done? How much have you increased in the last 2 years?
So, like we said, 72 units last year. The year before that, I did 69.
69.
Because I remember the market on that was nice. And so that was Compass. So with Compass, so far I've done 69 units and 72 units. Prior to that, I think I did not even broach 50. I think 3 years back, it was just under 50 units personally.
So you picked up almost another sale and a half a month.
It was the first, a month.
At least another sale and a half a month.
Yes.
Yeah. And part of it's because you've grown your team, and we have transaction coordinators and listing coordinators in addition to the five people you have on your team also.
It's been the combination of just legs in the game, retaining clients, and then also for me even to this day, like the referral business within Compass, and it's referrals within other Compass agents, which is I think what really pushed my business last year. I would say almost $10 million of my production last year was strictly referral business from Compass agents throughout the country. Wow. So like thinking about that, it's like we've talked about how cool Compass is and how great it is and why it's the best brokerage on the planet. But like the referral business is something that is talked about at other brokerages.
And explain a little bit why, because I know the app that you can look at the app and say, okay, Shane Burgman's on the app and Shane sold this many houses last. Tell a little bit why the app is so powerful.
So it's the app, it's the website, it's the presence of Compass, and it is the searchability of it. So if you take anyone listening right now and they're like, oh yeah, our brokerage, there's referrals that happen, and it does exist. But I think the main difference between every other brokerage and Compass is the fact that Compass has standards for their agents, standards as far as production, years in the game, what they're doing on a transactional basis. I think that's really important because when we're referring business, and before Compass, this is how I would go through the process. I would go on Zillow and I would look up for agents or teams in the area where I was referring business. I'd look at their reviews, I would track their transaction production, and then I would have 2 or 3 agents that I would like kind of tease out and almost like interrogate to try to get their personality match. Yeah. Compass has almost eliminated all of that because I know any Compass agent I reach out to, for the most part, they're going to have some skill set to them. They have experience. They're selling a good amount of real estate to where my confidence level has increased dramatically. And I think that's why the referral business is so great within Compass, because when you have someone that is, I'm going to use Connecticut as an example, someone that has a client in Connecticut, that seller in Connecticut that's buying down here, they've experienced a Compass agent up there. And that experience is something that is very challenging to replicate at any other brokerage. So that client is already accustomed to a certain level of service and to a certain level of treatment from the real estate professional. So that real estate professional might only be able to refer a Compass agent because that client is only asking for Compass agents. And that has happened to me several times where it had to, like the client requested only a Compass agent.
Yeah, I know.
So then the agent, what the agent does is either goes to Workplace, which is like kind of like the Facebook for our brokerage, and says, hey, looking for a referral in Melbourne, Florida. Who do you know? The other connections and relationships we've made with other Compass agents would either tag you on it or we can engage with it. Something we as a team try to do daily is engage on that platform. Or what they do is they can go to the website and search for an agent. Really easy to do on the mobile app for Compass or on the website. Search for an agent in the geographical area they're looking for. Transparently, you can see how many units they sold, the biography of them, what they do, and then they can reach out as simple as that and keep it within the Compass family.
So in wrapping this question up, there's only 2 or 3 big standards that Compass has, like 2 years in the business. Yep. What the audience will understand is there's no newbies in the business. We're not allowed to hire somebody new. So you got to be 2 years in the business. What's the other one?
I think so. If you're a single agent coming in, I believe it's 10 million is the threshold.
Yeah, I was going to say at least $100,000 in company earned GCI. And there was a third one. I can't remember do you remember what the third one is?
I feel like it's the production amount.
It could be, yeah. Because so what we're trying to explain is there's nobody new in there. You're not going to get an agent that doesn't know what he or she is doing. You're going to get an agent that's seasoned. And typically there's a team leader like Dewayne and I. I mean, I'm in it 41 years. Dwayne's in it, I think, 27 years now. Yeah. You're in it 8 years. I mean, so all these agents are seasoned agents. They know what they're doing. And, as we go into another question is, one of the things we do on our Tuesday team meetings is we do issue sections.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because you would think after 41 years there aren't any issues.
Yeah.
And literally every week we have 1 to 5 issues. And sometimes they're just like this week we had 3 big ones. Big ones. A FERPTA issue.
The first right.
Yeah, first right of refusal. I mean, big issues that we called attorneys and said, hey, how do you handle this? We don't know. We finally had to call our broker in Miami and say, hey, what is the opinion on this? What do we do? Because we couldn't get answers. So, the value of having a company like Compass, and again, I'm leading you, but you can say yes or no. The value of having someone like, Mercedes, we love her. She's a great broker. She runs the entire state of Florida. We've got Steven and Andrea over in Winter Park that are our managers. They run everything. So you have just big, powerful people. I mean, they're paying big dollars. I couldn't own Carpenter Kessel and run it like they run it. I mean, I'd have to be the broker full time because it's a full time job to be the broker. I'm a broker. I'm a broker salesman. I am a broker salesman. So Mercedes is our boss. I mean, when I got a question, I'm working up the chain to get that answer.
Yeah.
Is that worth anything to you?
Yeah, I mean, it dates back to that original kind of Starbucks meeting, and I'm going to go back to that because so at that meeting I had questions for you as well. And once I uncovered it was a recruiting kind of meeting. Not,
hey, let me show you my muscle. How much
not
better
who's
I am
going to do more push-ups and arm wrestle.
I know, but me anyhow. With me.
You'd smoke me. But one of the questions was, after 5 years, and that was talking about for me. So I was like, if I'm with you guys for 5 years and I decide to start my own brokerage, would you support that? And I think unanimously, you and Dewayne kind of had like a little laughing factor, and you're like, no, absolutely.
Yes.
But there's a reason we haven't. And it made me think, I'm like, interesting. So we've carried those conversations on and just learning about like, you could have done your own brokerage and done all these things and had your firm, but at the end of the day, it would have never been as powerful as what Compass has because you have a lot of resources, but you don't have the amount of resources and capital that a company like Compass can bring to the table.
Publicly traded company.
It's insane. And I'll never forget that conversation we had because it's one of those, like, there is such a value to joining a brokerage that is established, that has the resources, that has the man and women power, that has the staff, the support. Like, there's so much that Compass offers us as an agent. It's just one of those, I can't imagine a really better fit. And I could not imagine trying to do all that on my own. It just seems maniacal.
And that's how we've been doing. I thought about it several times, and every time we're like, what if Compass just didn't exist? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we would go work for the Shane Burgman. I don't know. That's the honest answer, because you've got to have accounting departments. You've got to, it's just a plethora of people. And then you look at that and it's like, no, thank you. No. We want to sell. You and I are good at selling.
Yep.
We're not good at holding the transaction together. We can fix the problem when Julie calls and says, hey, we got a problem, or somebody calls on that transaction side. But I don't want to deal with it every day. I don't want to check off the checklist.
Yeah, and you guys have been really smart about it because you've built your own company within a company that already is established. So your brand is Carpenter Kessel is there. You have the support staff within it. You have your transactional side, your listing side, your agents, your salaried employees, and then it's just powered by the number one brokerage in the country. Mm-hmm. So like, I can't imagine a better combination, honestly. Like it's.
So do you see any reason we can't get to $1 billion? I mean, we're right now where we are is just right about $360 million last year. So, I'd like to see us at $500 million is in Brevard County. And then I'd like to take us all the way to $1 billion.
Is $1 billion $100 million?
Yeah, something like that. It's
a big number.
It's a lot of zeros.
I don't even know if I've seen it.
What it means, though, in units, it means right now our average price is $500,000. So simple arithmetic, it's going to be 2,000 units. Mm-hmm. So it means we sell 2,000 houses instead of 671 that we sold last year. So we've got the horsepower. We're building all the departments up to do that. The media things is something we've really just started, and you're the one that kind of got us going on that whole media stuff. And I believe you're going to have a media company now to be a real estate agent. I mean, let's segue to another question. How do you think the single agent is going to hold up to someone like a team like Carpenter Kessel team?
I mean, I think they're at a severe disadvantage kind of going into it. There's a lot of power in groups and teams. And I think there are agents that will do everything by themselves, but I feel like they will represent the minority of agents out there because I think most agents, and even at this point, are understanding the power of working with a team or building a team, joining a team, whatever it may be. There's just so much more advantage from an agent perspective to do that. And then also understanding, like, at the end of the day, our job is to provide the best service experience, get the most for our clients. And I just find it really challenging that a single agent can accomplish all of those things and then also have like a balance of life to where they're not fully stressed out. And I can't see the life of the single agent being that, incredible, especially if they're trying to do a good amount of production. I find it.
I always give the analogy to sellers. A single agent is like the airline pilot, checking you in, loading your bags, fueling the airplane, shutting the door, saying, buckle your seatbelts and say, okay, guys, I'm going to be up front flying the plane. No refreshments, and here we go.
Yeah.
And it can be done, but it's a lot of work, and you don't see anybody doing that. You certainly don't see the airlines having their pilot do everything. And I think the real estate market, as I knew it 41 years ago, is no longer the same.
It's not the same. And I think, like, if you are a single agent and you're doing all of this, and then if you're apprehensive about joining a team, ask the questions about what the team can offer you. And once you uncover that, you're like, oh, like the help, the support that you guys as the team leaders and the support that the team offers, there is no way in hell that I would be selling 72 units if I was on my own. I mean, if I was doing 20, I feel like I'd be pushing it. I'd be like stressed out of my mind. I probably would not have nearly as much time with my family. It would be a completely different career path than being on the team now. And I even feel like at 72 units, like I could personally probably sell 100 and still have
I know you can.
A pretty good balance of life, and then also feel really good about what I'm doing.
All right, so let's get a new question. Tell me a success story. Tell me something, can be funny, could be just a great success story, but something that resonates in your mind. It's a little mind, so it can't take that long.
It's a little, I'm trying to go through.
It's got to be fast.
I think on the personal level, I'm very happy and I feel I'm successful as a father. Oh, and nice. I think that's something that growing up, like I didn't, I was in my 20s in the military. I'm not really sure I wanted to have kids, and I didn't know if that was the path I wanted to go. And once I hit my 30s, my wife and I kind of talked about it, and it was one of those, like, I almost couldn't imagine not having kids with her. So the success is also being a father, but also marrying someone that when I looked at Rebecca, and this is wild, but like, I had that feeling that like she's going to be a great mom.
Oh wow!
And at the time, I'm just like, what am I thinking?
What
are these feelings? What's happening? But like I knew like she's a great mother and all these things. And fast forward to now, we have 2 children, a 2 and a 4-year-old, 2 boys. They're awesome, tons of energy, a little stressful at times. But like the dynamic that Rebecca and I have with them and the relationship we have, like, I feel we've done very well for them, and brought them into a world, raised them, and I feel like that's a success.
God, I love that. That's a great answer. I had no idea you were going to tell.
I didn't know either.
I had no idea. All right, so tell me another story about what's the biggest sale you've had?
Last year, so it was a $2.8 million riverfront property.
Nice.
And it was actually pretty funny. So these clients had bought a house with me the year before, and that was my highest sell at that point, which was 1.7 million. And then they decided, hey, we don't want to live in this gated community on the mainland. We moved down here from Washington State, and we really, our eyes have always been on the river. And we kind of want this house. And we started looking and kind of looking at it. And sure enough, they ended up buying that house on the river for 2.8. And then we sold that house in Vieira. I think we were at 1.9, 1.875 on that one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So those clients, I mean, it was, do the math there, but it was almost $6 million.
They're great clients. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And the best part about it was, and this was something like I was fearful of getting into, like that was a luxury sale, however you want to slice it. Those clients, like every showing we ever did, I remember the husband, his name's Carl, awesome dude, never wore closed-toe shoes, flip-flops, shorts, all the time. Wow. Casual as hell. We'd go out showings, we'd be shooting this shit. We would have these fun conversations about it. And I was like, these people are like cash. This is a 2.8, almost a $3 million transaction with cash. So you think about the wealthiest of the wealthiest, like these people are buying this house with cash.
That's
like,
so down to earth.
So down to earth, so cool. I mean, we popped bottles of champagne at every single house we did. And they were like, and I remember the closing day of the house on the river, right before that, they had talked about how they loved Mai Tais, and they were trying to find a good place in the county for Mai Tais. So my closing party for them was I brought everything to their house. I was bartender and did Mai Tais with them at the house, and they were like, "This is the best thing ever." Best, yeah, but just like they were so
fun.
cool.
You enjoyed it.
So fun. That was a good sale, good people. Just like really gave me the confidence knowing that like a luxury buyer, a high-end buyer, you just can't generalize what these people look like or what they sound like. I mean, it was just I learned a lot about that.
So that's a great story. Let me ask you this: what is your average price point? So, because obviously we all would love to do
for sure
$2.8 million houses every day. They're just not out there. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what would you say your average price point typically is?
So, average right now is about $600,000.
Okay.
And that has dramatically increased from when I first joined the team. I think I was at $180,000.
Yeah, I was going to say 200. Yeah.
So under 200,000. So in 6 years, it's gone up significantly. Tripled, and that's because of whether it's the market has also increased a little bit, but not that much. But yeah, you guys have trained me and taught me to really figure out who my ideal client is. And then you help me set my goals and you help me down the path of how to get there. Cause it's something you've done. You've been down that path and you've given me the encouragement and the help to kind of find that. So over time, I was able to kind of bring that up and have a lot of confidence in that price range.
Yeah. I mean, in a perfect world, you'd sell 100 $2.8 million houses.
Oh yeah.
We're not South Florida.
Where do we have to live for that? So is that South
Jupiter? Deliver Vincent lives in Jupiter.
I'm good now.
Yeah. So, I mean, in Brevard County though, in Vieira, there's a lot of stuff over $1 million. So the price point's really gone up in Vieira. Beachside, now it's difficult to find a condo on the ocean. It's certainly a newer one under $1 million. You get some older ones under $1 million. You got some side facing ones, but the reality is the price points have increased.
For sure.
Yeah. So I mean, that's helped us a lot. And then the team, I think, has not only helped us, Dewayne and I, but the team has helped. The team, I keep saying, Julie and Emily and Leslie. Gosh, we can't forget Leslie.
No, the team has helped the agents remain focused on what our goals and objectives are in our business. And not everyone has the objective of selling 50 million. Not everyone wants the sales average price point of 600,000. Like that's okay. Like we have agents on our team that have goals that are, within what they want is manageable.
Yeah.
But you guys provide us, you're the conduit for us to get to that goal and how to achieve it. It's not just like, cool, like I'll help you. Like you write down and give us strict guidelines as to how to get there and how to achieve that.
Well, our quarterly meetings,
but it's like by all of the staff that you provide, all of the help, all the support, like you allow us agents to focus on what the heck we're actually trying to do. And that's, I think, the only reason that I'm able to triple my average sales price in 6 years and get into a groove of being the top 0.01% in the nation as far as transaction goes. Like there's no way it would have happened without you guys.
Good. Well, we love you.
That was another compliment.
That was two.
Well, might be. Let's go for three.
One more.
I'll get a third in. I'll get a third in.
All right. So let's talk about coaching.
Yeah.
We've been through, since you were with us, 3 coaches now?
Yes.
Yeah. Has it been helpful to have a coach? Not helpful? Tell a little about what the coach has or hasn't done for you.
Game changer. So easiest way to spin that one off is, I mean, having a coach not only keeps you accountable, teaches you things that you didn't know. But if you look at let's put real estate to the side. You take any professional athlete, any business CEO, anyone that's doing something at the highest level, they are being influenced, coached, supported by someone else. Like they all have coaches. Yeah. The best of the best always have coaches. So in the real estate sector, by getting to the best of the best and remaining the best of the best, having a coach, I think, has helped get us there, and also keeps us sharp, keeps us on point, understanding what's happening in the market, and then also encouraging us to do things that we're seeing in other areas of the world that we might not have exposure to, but the coaches, because they coach all over the place, like are able to give us the glimpse of what their perspective is on other areas. I think it's a game changer. I love it. Looking back before coaching, it's one of those, it's like, why didn't I do this sooner? But it's like you don't know what you don't know.
Well, if you think about it, everybody's got a coach.
Yeah.
Every profession's got some type of coach, or they've got some type of. I'll go back to my pilot analogy. You got to do reoccurring, flying every 6 months. You got to go through a class. It's the same thing as coaching. I mean, you do the same thing, but how do you get better? How do you get more proficient at it?
Yeah.
So that's I think a really big thing.
It's a game changer. The coach is a game changer. But we've had some really great coaches too, and all different dynamics, all bringing different things to the table that help, I think, round us as agents out and also give us that advantage over the other agent pools out there, because not everyone has access to a coach. Not everyone can afford having a coach. These are all things that, like, again, you as team leaders provide as additional value to what you're already bringing to the table for us. Like adding in the coach layer of it, it's just like, I mean, what's
I'm
going
to keep that as a second compliment because it's kind of the same
It was
compliment.
insane. I was stretching.
You were stretching that. Yeah, you got to get another one.
Damn it.
So tell me, what do you think today? So I kind of give you an idea where real estate was 41 years ago. Today, where we are, where do you think it's going to go over the next 1, 3, 5 years? What is your forecast? How's it going to change? What are the trends?
Do you want macro, micro? How do we?
Let's start with macro.
Okay.
And then we can always. I mean, people always want to know what is your. Almost every appointment, Dewayne and I go on this. What's your crystal ball say? I mean, should we sell now? Should we wait?
Yeah.
They all want to. They all say the crystal ball. I mean,
I think macro level, and we've been seeing this close to 9 months, is stabilization in the market, a normalizing market, which is a really buzzy term you're seeing now, but a market that's becoming more balanced, meaning it's not really swaying in the seller's favor, the buyer's favor. We're seeing houses sit on the market a little bit longer, and then absorption rate kind of getting to the point to where it's balanced. I think that's going to continue the trend for the next 3 years, and it'll just be back to kind of pre-COVID levels, where it'll take 40, 60, 80 days to sell certain units, and then in the luxury end, it could take 6 months, whatever it was before that.
It used to be a year to 2
years. 2 years for a certain price point. But I think that's where we're getting into. And then also like the dynamic of interest rates. I think buyers are already getting more comfortable with the higher rate because they had the shock factor for the last year. It's like, oh man, and I understand completely. But I think in the next 3 years, people are going to be like used to that 5 to 6% range because it's been kind of the standard, the normal for such a long time. And I think, it makes them more comfortable.
Do you think it's going to stay there or not?
Yeah, I think we'll be between 5 and 6. And that's where we'll kind of land the plane. Okay. I did a pilot analogy.
Yeah, there's your pilot analogy.
I brought one in for you. The plane's going to land or between 5 and 6. And I think we're going to hold strong for the next 3 years.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good prediction.
Yeah.
On the inventory, what we're seeing now is a lot less listings. So we talk about this on our state of the market. Dewayne and I do.
Yeah.
Listings are a little bit longer to sell, but we were running 3,300. Dewayne always knows the numbers. I think 3,300 pre-COVID.
Yep.
Now we're right at 2,000.
Yeah, as of today.
We were at 2,400 in January. So once again, listings are starting to go down. Why do you think that is?
So I think it's a combination effect. I think we still have apprehension in the volatile interest rate market because you're seeing those shift frequently, and we had a purge of buyers into the market when they dipped, and then they take sidelines when they go back up. So we're seeing that. I also think we're amping up. The delayed spring market. I think that might be a factor of that.
It could be. Yeah.
But you also have this weird dynamic where you have sellers that are sitting on an extremely low interest rate. It could be 2%. So for them to kind of trade out of that to whether they're moving up or they're moving down or out of the area, like they have to really consider and think about that. Like, is it worth losing this interest rate? So I think those sellers are maybe holding off a little bit. And all the activity we're seeing now is primarily the people that don't really have that option. They have to move, whether it's the family dynamic has shifted, they have a job elsewhere, or just something else has occurred within their life that they are kind of forced into this decision to make the move.
Wow. Well, all I can say is thank you. You did a great job. I mean, I would have liked to got the third compliment. We can do it after the show, but you can.
I was looking for something.
Let me get it. Yeah, it's hard. I know it's hard to get a compliment.
No, man,
with me.
there's so many
I know.
compliments that I could.
No, but again, I want to thank you. It's our first show. I think you did pretty good. I mean, you look like you've done this a few times.
I mean, I think as it stands right now, it's probably the best one you've done.
I think so.
Yeah.
Once again, Shane Burgman, thank you very much.
Thanks, Kirk.